everybody. It's been a chaotic evening for us. It didn't quite go as planned. But hopefully you're seeing this somewhere out on the wild, wild interwebs. A couple of days before the actual, or after the actual show. I shouldn't do things this late. And I'm gonna introduce all these lovely people. Right here in front of you, and then we'll get into answering some audience questions, and I'm sure it will be totally organized and not go off the rails, and we'll stick to our topics. Who am I kidding? So first up, we have Mr. Franklin Dorman. And, of course, me. Not important. Bleh. So, next we have the lovely Miss Fiona Molly. And now we have the indubitable Logan Glaze, the amazing Isabel Snyder, the wonderful Taylor Elliott, the undisputed king of my heart, Tynan Butler, the amazing Anna Faris, and of course, my fellow Sondheim bro, Dylan Henderson. Alright, so let's get into some audience questions. And anybody who wants to answer can just raise their hand or give a shout or do whatever. It's chaos here. Did you film all at once, or was everything filmed separately? That is what somebody is asking first.
Yeah, so I guess I could take it. We filmed mostly all at once. I mean, I'm sure, as you could tell, there were some overdubs to be done just for, mic issues, and internet connectivity issues. But other than that, it was all filmed in one Zoom call, and we're all sitting in our basement at like 10 o'clock at night. That was fun. So yeah, it was all one big thing. Yeah, it was
Theme
nice.
of the night is chaos. It was very chaotic.
It was a time, man. Remember when Frankie had his mic on reverb the entire time?
Oh my
And so the cop's voice sounded like the voice of God echoing down from on high. Yeah.
Can we get some of that reverb right now?
Not right. I'm in the wrong spot. But too bad. Too bad God got killed in the library with a candlestick. That was kind of sucked.
All right. Next question. We've already gone off the rails, folks. This one is from another anonymous person. Hi, Mitch. You put on a wonderful production of the show. I was so excited to hear about it. Okay, there doesn't seem to be a question here, but some very nice compliments given to us all. Well, thank you, kind stranger on the internet.
Thank you.
Most of these are just lovely compliments. How many hours this production took to complete for presentation? Wow. That is the one thing I did keep track of as I was editing it was how many times I had actually watched the show, excluding the night we all did the Zoom call itself. And it rounded out to about 20. So I have seen this show a lot, y'all. We had some lovely, wonderful people working and doing editing for us, literally states away. So lots of FaceTime calls with them. It was a lot of hours. That was a long-winded way of saying a lot of hours. This is really a labor of love for all of us, I think.
At least 2.
Yeah. The best part of the show. Somebody's asking about the best part of the show. Of making it.
Everything that I'm in. Just me. It's all me.
All of the times we messed up and couldn't stop laughing for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I think it was when Taylor dies and reveals that he's not wearing pants.
Oh my god, no. I did not realize that until tonight. I was wearing shorts because I didn't think I was going to be doing anything with my legs. But obviously when Wadsworth gets shot, I did like a little kind of thing. And my sick hairy legs got exposed, and
You
I just want you to
moved
know,
the camera
I was
to
wearing
show
shorts.
more of your
Wearing
legs.
shorts.
It's true.
I had pants on. They just weren't long pants. But oh my
good
god, I
lord.
died laughing when I saw that. But I'm
Oh,
To be
also
fair, I think
so
all of us
funny.
were wearing
sorry I
shorts,
had to see
probably.
that. The kind of folks who watched our production.
I think my favorite part was just watching you guys because I was playing the piano for the most part, and I was just had a black screen on, and I was looking at you guys make the facial expressions and everything, and I was just like, yeah, this is funny. I think that was my favorite part. I can't really
I love the
pinpoint
whole
a single
thing.
spot.
I love playing really stupid characters because that is one of my 2 character types that I play, and the other one is completely insane.
To be fair, I think
prefer the
Mustard
dumb
is a mix of
ones.
both.
Yeah, probably.
It's kind of right in your sweet spot. All right, next. Did you guys have any strategies or practices for getting into your characters? If so, how were they affected by doing a virtual play in a Zoom setting? That's a really good question. Whoever put this out did a good job.
Like I think it's tricky because I know there are definitely things that I do when I am in person. Like I know, even Fiona and I have like little things that we'll do together often before a show, or I'll have, as any of you here can attest, like I always do like all these crazy like shake it out things before a show. But I will say that my big one for this show, because I would get, and I mean, let's be real here. The accent was not maybe peak accent performance, but I would get nervous that I wouldn't say like the consonants hard enough. So I would just stand in front of my mirror and I would go and I would like try and say my lines over and over again so that I could like get intense consonants enough, because once I was like switched in there, then I'd be okay. But I think there's definitely some like repetitive things like that sort of getting into like just a little routine of it is helpful to me, at least. I know.
I think
If I can chime in. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I think for me, like a lot of the time, like getting into characters, a lot of like physical stuff, and doing a virtual show where you're kind of just sitting there the whole time. I think that just made it a little more difficult to like remain like in your physical feeling like your character, if that makes sense.
My whole strategy was that my character is completely lost the whole time. He's got no clue what's going on. So my approach was exactly that. It's a Zoom performance. I have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm just going to wing it the whole time. I got my script right here. And you can see it in how often I'm constantly looking down at my script, but also just, I like those times when I can just be fully honest with that I have no idea what I'm doing energy. And this was one of those times.
I mean, I think that was true for all of us, right? Like, we were pretty much flying by the seat of our pants the entire time during this show, or at least I felt a lot of that. And I think that was part of why it was such a great experience in one way or another, because it kind of is so immersed in that, like, it's 2021 now, but 2020 vibes. Kind of is my general thing. Also, Isabel, like when you came to me on one of those first Zooms saying, "Can I do this accent?" Like I don't even know how you described it to me. I think it was like you might have pulled out like Dana Carvey, like church lady. Like has anybody ever seen those sketches, classic SNL sketches?
Oh, they're
I
great.
think that's sorry.
No, I said church lady's great. Go ahead, Mitchell.
No, yeah, I mean, definitely it was like. Actually, I think the way you may have described it to me was like Isabel and I have both grown up in the Protestant church. So, like, that was definitely a reference point for, like, Southern, Midwestern, very conservative church ladies who don't necessarily practice the teachings of Jesus, but they like to tell people to do so. So I think that came from, that's definitely not what Eileen Brannon was going for in the original movie, and I think the performance is really that much stronger for it, because it was one of those places where all of you made like little things, conscious choices to innovate, basically. But like that was one of the things that stuck out to me the most, and you saying that reminded me of it. Um, Oh, so I think next we have a question about what is next for our particular production company. And I'm going to be really honest. We definitely have things planned, things are happening in the future, hopefully next summer. But we're currently like vacillating between shows and like what are we going to do next, is this feasible, is this possible, and of course it'll probably be on Zoom again. Hopefully there'll be a point where we can all get together in person and do stuff like this, but we're gonna have a website and we're, you know, things are happening, things are cooking. Thank you, lovely questioner. Yes. Did the police officer play all the music? That is maybe the best phrasing of that question that could have possibly occurred.
I did indeed. So there were actually two tracks going. Something got messed up in one of the processes where some music got kept in, and there was the whole thing. I redid a lot of the music because I wanted the sounds to be different. But yes, I was sitting at a piano at the time of the recording and playing everything as it came along. And even while I was talking, I was playing little like ditties and things. So yeah.
Shout out to Frankie. How long did the cast rehearse? Does anybody want to speak to that?
Twice.
Yes, we rehearsed twice for about maybe 2.5-ish hours each night. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds right
Yeah.
to me. We had little meetings in between, and of course, stuff happens on the text chain. It's absolutely wild, my friends.
Mhm.
Um,
It was a very wild time. Very wild. Oh, Mitchell, you're on mute.
I muted myself. Knew that was gonna happen at least once during this talkback. So the next question is about, did everybody do their hair and makeup themselves, since this was entirely remote, costumes and all of that. And it's like, and the next question stemming out of that was, how did you guys do all of that? Does anybody want to speak to that?
My entire costume was a hat. So I grabbed
Same.
the hat.
That's what
and
I was
put it
going to
on.
say. I wore a hat and a jacket.
Shirt and
that
badly
was what I
I'm
tied
was
down in
tie.
a pair of blue shorts.
You know, I think
No makeup.
in terms of costumes, and I'll let Isabel and those guys, because they had more elaborate things. But in terms of costumes for some of us, I think it's less about the whole thing rather than just an accent, just so you can get an idea of it. It's, you know, because a lot of us, we don't
It's about
have.
the vibe.
Yeah, it's about the vibe, bro. Bro, it's about the vibe. No, but it's more about, it's a single piece rather than, at least for me, it's just like a single thing that gives you an idea of like, well, this is not just some dude in the street, right? So I don't know, but yeah, maybe somebody else has something else to say about it.
So, this next question is a delightful question, and it's about how we all assembled and if we'd worked together before. Um, and that is such a fun question, and I love it so much.
Yes, I believe we've all worked together to at least some degree before. I think most of our last interactions that I can remember was from Newsies. I know everybody here was involved at least to some degree when State High did Newsies.
the only person that does not apply, the only persons that does not apply to, I should
Oh
say,
yeah, that's right.
is Maddie Christopher, who like
Mhm.
And
all
me,
of
I
us,
had no
And
part in
Tynan.
Newsies.
and also
And
Piper.
Avery, right?
So
Yeah, Piper and Ashwin and Avery also.
Yeah, so a lot of people actually, but
Mhm. Yeah.
Let's say
But I think
it's been a sorry. A lot of a lot of us have known each other for a long time.
Mhm.
It's like Piper's Fiona Molly's sister, so we know a lot of us know Fiona's family just by association, and things like that. We've known each other from school. We're all within a couple grades of each other, so even on and off the stage, we know each other pretty well, I'd say.
Mhm.
Um, and there's a company in our town called Singing on Stage, which is it's a nonprofit organization that does theater stuff that's outside of a school or college or something like that. And we all, I think pretty much all of us have done that at least once, if not more than once. And so we've known each other from that too. But yeah.
And the next question is a rather simple one, and I think it's kind of elegant in its construction. And it's why Clue? And I have my own answer to that, but if anybody else wants to talk about that, they
Well,
most certainly can.
you're the boss.
It's all you, Mitchell. It's all you.
So I kind of looked around at what was going on in the world, gestures at 2020 as a year. Global pandemic, social unrest, we're all in our homes. And I kind of thought, well, gee, a lot of like during pandemic theater is trying to dive like straight into super important topical issues and like into the heart of some really important and serious things. And I kind of wanted to take a swing way in the opposite direction. Because like I felt like we all needed 90 minutes of escapism, and like just doing a very very silly show would kind of be a lovely mental health boost. I think the first, like, I had read the play before. I think the first person in terms of casting who came to me was Taylor. But literally, like, I remember sitting in bed, unable to sleep, and I literally had the thing cast in 15 minutes, and then I reached out to people, and it kind of happened. Like the chemistry was never a problem because, as everybody has been saying, like we all knew each other, and so like there was just kind of that instant chemistry. You didn't have to worry about any kind of that stuff, and we all were kind of like hyper aware of kind of the tone and the mood of the thing, like trying not to get burned out on Zoom, of course, is a problem. But like to the degree with which this thing moves, the thing moves so fast. There's like 10 jokes per minute. And so because of that, it was like really easy to kind of get lost in and just go bang 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 bang, It's not an extremely subtle show. Um so but like I'm so grateful for that because it was such a lovely like mental health boost and a turn away kind of from what we're all experiencing. So, yeah. How much improvisation did the actors do? Last one, it seems, folks. So
I would argue that most of it was improvisation. Obviously, we had 2 rehearsals, which were long and helpful and like rehearsals. But I think because it was relatively short, like I think a lot of it was kind of improv and figuring out your character along the way.
And there were those bits where everyone talked over each other all at the same time, and those were totally unscripted. We all had our own things that we just kind of went, I'm gonna say this now, and like it ended up, we ended up being lucky that in the final performance, nothing was funny enough that it broke the whole thing. But I remember that happening a couple of different times during rehearsals.
I say I know all the music was, well, except for the main theme, was improv by me because well, I learned later that I had to re-record the licensed music, otherwise we'd get nailed down by the corporate masters. But in terms of when I was playing it, I was making stuff up. You know, I was just kind of tinkering around. I was trying to make stuff like creepy sounding music that was like, yeah, this kind of fits. So that was improv for me too.
Yeah, my favorite example of that is literally in the very last scene, when you guys are all pointing at each other and saying, you know, he did it, she did it, and Tynan says, everybody did it, everybody but me. That was possibly my favorite bit of him throughout this entire thing. It was hysterical. Um, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen, that is absolutely all we have time for. But I want to thank you for supporting theater in this challenging time. We're so glad that you chose to spend your night with us in this very, very silly, doing this very, very silly fun thing with us. And it was a joyful experience for us as well. Thank you for your support. We all really appreciate it. Bye now.